All right, what's up, guys and girls? How's it going? It's Els here, bringing you a quick informational video discussing the Lich set. Sorry, just having my cup of coffee. The Lich set it's a good set. Everybody knows this. But what happens oftentimes on YouTube and when people are discussing builds is they inappropriately assign like what kind of recovery they have. And they'll say it in one way or another. And this isn't everybody, obviously. This is just, what I see quite a bit when I'm looking at stuff. This is my recovery with Lich on my back bar, 1507 magic recovery. We all know that my recovery is not 1507 because I have the Lich proc. So when I do all this and I do my streak thing to proc the Lich set and I take my potion, it says I have 3523 magic recovery. So clearly my recovery is somewhere between 1500 and 3523. This is fully buffed. But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll use the Lich set and they will show the recovery with the Lich set. They'll get a continuous attack, so they have even more recovery, which will jump up to like 4,000, with continuous. Plus their spell damage will be higher. Then they'll show their pictures fully buffed like that. And it's not a true character sheet. That's what they have for 20 seconds. But their true recovery is much less. And so what this video is going to do is this video is going to show you guys, how to calculate what kind of recovery you're running with Lich. If you're running a Lich build, what kind of recovery you're running with your set, how much recovery you're actually running with, if in case you wanted to run a different build. Like if you all of a sudden see Calurians out there or, some other set, or you want to run Julianos and Willpower, you like running Lich, but you want a little bit more damage. Well, what recovery are you getting with your Lich build that you love so that you can evenly compare the next two sets? That's what this video is going to cover. So we're going to dive into that. The Lich set is interesting. Obviously, it's one of the best recovery sets in the game. As you can see, when you cast an ability while under 33% magicka, your magic recovery is increased by 1,000 for 20 seconds. This effect can occur once every 1 minute. So for 20 seconds, you get a huge boost to recovery. Everybody knows this. I'm not going to go into it too much. Recovery happens every 2 seconds. So at a base level, this is 1,000 magicka recovery for 20 seconds, which means that you get 10,000 more magicka for that 20-second period. Now, which turns out, if you do math that way, it turns out to 333 more magicka recovery. And I'll go into how we figure that out here in a minute. However, the problem with this is this recovery scales with Vampire. It scales with whether or not you're a high elf. High elf gives you 10% more recovery. It also scales with your CP. So you actually get quite a bit more magicka recovery with the Lich set than the 333 that it's stating because of how all the other modifiers scale in. So, when we look at the character sheet, if it didn't scale, our magicka recovery would be 1507 plus the 333 that Lich gives us. So we would be at 1840 magicka recovery, fully buffed, which is, with a pot, turns out to be around 2,000 or so. Our true recovery with this build that I just calculated is 2301. And so that's how we know that these modifiers can scale in. So the question is for your specific build, for your specific CP setup, what recovery are you running? How do you figure that out? Now, I know in high school, if you guys are still in high school, you probably asked yourself this question. You're in calculus, you're in geometry. I'm not going to judge your mathematical level, but at some point, somebody in your class said, "Hey, teacher, why the hell are we doing math? We're never going to use math in our everyday lives." Wrong. If you play an MMO, you use math to get better at video games. So there's an answer. We're going to basically explain, what our recovery is, and then we're going to figure out how to calculate it using math. So our magic recovery is 1507 without a pot. When we take a pot, we jump up to 1690. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be off a cooldown. I'm going to do this more quickly. When our magic recovery drops, or when our magic recovery goes up, when the Lich procs, there we go, and we take a pot, as you saw before, we're at 3523 magic recovery. So, as I said before, we have 3523 magic recovery. This happens for 20 seconds. the recovery is calculated every 2 seconds. So what we do to figure out how much, there's the 1690. What we do to figure out how much recovery we're actually getting at a base level for our build is we take the 3523 and we times it by 10. Because it's a 20-second proc, so every 2 seconds we get 3523. So this is how we calculate how much magicka we're getting for that 20-second period. So we're over that 20-second period for our specific build, we are getting 35,230 magicka. So just write that down. On top of that, with our potion up, you saw the 1690. So we get 1690 over the remaining 40 seconds when we have a potion up. So we're going to take 1690 times 20 because, once again, recovery happens every 2 seconds. So for 40 seconds, it's actually 20 times. So we have 33,800 recovery magicka that we get over the other 40 seconds. So then what we do is we take this 33,800 plus our 35,230, and we get our total magicka over that 1 minute period is 69,030. This is how much magicka over a 1 minute period we get with the Lich not procced and with the Lich procced with a potion consumed. So that's the number that we're looking at right now. In order to figure out how much recovery that is, we divide that by 30. So recovery happens every 2 seconds. So we're going to divide this number by 30 to get our true recovery. 2301. So if you're running this specific build with the Lich set, the Lich set is giving you roughly 800 magicka recovery with this specific build. It is a big bonus considering I am a vampire, I am a high elf, and then I also have like 14% into the Arcanist tree. So when you're looking at people's builds and you see somebody say, you know, I have 3,500 magicka recovery with the Lich procced, what that means is they have about 2,300 magicka recovery. And you can figure it out. If they say, oh, you know, you have 2,300 magicka recovery, you know, hypothetically, if they tell you, oh, you have 2,300 magicka recovery, you don't need that much, I have 1,500 with Lich, they actually have the exact same recovery that you do. So that way, like, you know, this is just here to help you guys figure out whether Lich is a good option for you or whether or not going to other sets is a good option for you. So you can do your own comparisons so that, you know what you like with Lich, and then you know what recovery you need with a non-Lich build. Now, this also applies to other sets like Warlock and Trappings of Invigoration that I'll go into later. The difference between this one and Warlock and Trapping is Trappings of Invigoration and Warlock are only a base number. They're 9,000 at max, and they do not scale off your recovery. So what that means is, so every minute you get 9,000 more magicka. And so what that means is you do 9,000 divided by 30 to figure out how much extra recovery you have. With a trapping set or with a warlock set, you get 300. So when it comes to your build depends on, you know, how much recovery you have, whether you're a vampire, whether you have all these other recovery modifiers, and whether or not, you know, you utilize misform or you're worried about poisons or stuff like that. There's a lot of value in running a set like Invigoration and Warlock because, you know, that bulk stamina and magicka is not affected by poisons. It's also not affected by, you know, your normal recovery or whatever. You just know you can calculate that you're going to get roughly 300 more recovery on top of whatever it is. It's not showing up on your character sheet, but it's 300 more than what it says it is. So when you're looking at these sets and when you're comparing stuff, you know, this is just some quick math for you guys to figure out exactly, you know, why you have what you have. So if you guys have any questions, please comment in the section below. Hopefully I explained it well. Hopefully I didn't make it too difficult for you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.